What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumbass. Like and subscribe. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's like, I don't even try to like make up bad news for play. They just do it themselves. It's like I did like 4 news topics in the last video. I rushed through them because it happened like during the weeks that, you know, that I was gone. And you know, it's just, it's crazy, right? So now Sony's getting sued. Now they've been sued a handful of times, 3 times already this generation. I mean, before and stuff. But now they're getting sued from a California not law firm, but it's a class action lawsuit. And basically, I mean, this is how you can tell that Sony is they're pieces of shite, because look, corporations are gonna corporate, right? They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They're gonna try to make that money. But Sony is shameless in the fact that they don't care. They're gonna make it any means possible, anyway, right? So what happened? This is what happened, right? Our illustrious president, Orange Man Trump, he put tariffs. We all know about the tariffs. Everybody's like, tariffs, oh my gosh, China tariff, blah, blah, whatever, right? That happened. Everything, the prices went up, blah, blah, blah. Then Sony said, yo, because of market conditions, we got to raise the prices because of the tariffs, right? So they did. Now, the U.S. government, federal government, is giving a refund for the tariffs because it was asinine and wrong and stupid. And so they're giving money back to corporations like Sony. And Sony was just going to be quiet. They like being quiet. They don't say nothing. They just like, shh, don't say nothing. Let's just continue to say nothing. And then we raise some prices, and then we say nothing again. Because if we don't say nothing, then they can't respond back to us saying nothing because we didn't say nothing. So that's what they do, right? So now, in California, they're suing Sony for, it was a double, I forgot what the terminology was, but basically they got paid once for the price hikes, the price increases to compensate for the tariffs. And then they're getting the rebate from the government for the tariffs, for imposing the tariffs in the first place. And the people are suing Sony to get that money because that's basically their money. If you look at how the money goes, paper trail, it should go back to the consumers who paid more for the consoles because of the tariff, the increase because of the tariffs. Anyway, Sony's getting sued for that. They got sued for something else. Fixing prices or whatever in London, in UK, I believe it was a while back. Look, I don't make the bad Sony news. I don't make the bad PlayStation news. It just happens. It happens because I'm just saying. Look, if everything was up and up in PlayStation world, this wouldn't be happening, right? Their horrible business practices wouldn't be shown in the light. Of course, people like Porter Rock and all these other clowns, they're not gonna say nothing. They said something about the price hike of PSN or PS Plus or whatever. Oh my gosh, they're being consumers now. They're being, you know, consumer activists now, right? All the other times when Sony was, you know, no Vaseline in them, they ain't saying nothing. But now they saying something. Yeah, I don't trust them. I don't care. Pro-consumer is pro-consumer, but nah, bro. Nah, you've been too long, you know, looking the other way. It's too late for y'all. Y'all gonna take it. Take that price hike. Enjoy it. Because that's your superior console, right? Not so much. Like I said last video, FSR 4.1 looks like the Xbox Series X is gonna outshine the PlayStation 5 as it should have always done. But, you know, devs want to be devs. But, you know, besides, you know, PlayStation getting sued again. Besides PlayStation raising the prices of PSN again. Besides just, I mean, it's so many negative things. And if you compile a list of all the negative things that's happening at PlayStation, and then you put one side the negative stuff and you put one side the positive, what's the positive? That Soros sold 300K? Is that what it was? Is that a positive? No, it's not. Like I said last video, Psychonauts only sold 283,000, and that was a failure. With 20 million consoles sold. Times 5 the amount of consoles sold, and it barely broke 300,000. Come on, son. That's all you have to see. Like, MBG and these knuckleheads, they're like, that's a lie. That's not true, or whatever he said. But he's like, then he goes to how much money they made, and I'm like, you're an idiot. I'm calling him out on live, on tape, on YouTube. MBG is an idiot. Okay? Is he a pony? Probably. I don't even care to distinguish what type of fanboy he is, because he is an idiot. I don't think he takes steroids, but I would say he should use that as an excuse to explain his idiocracy. That's not a word. That's a movie. Anyway, how are you gonna? First of all, switching from profit away from what PlayStation is doing, charging more and all these things. That's not what you do. From detracting from, oh, they only sold 300K, Soros. That's not what you do. You got to look at the facts. You got to look at the numbers. You got to look at the reality. The reality is the reason why PlayStation has made profit, or their most successful blah 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 generation, whatever they said, is because they're charging $900 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. They're charging $750 for a PlayStation 5. They're charging $650 for. They raised the prices of everything. That's why they're making more money, dumbass. But you could twist it. You can make it seem like you know what you're talking about, and everything's all good in PlayStation land, which it ain't. Only reason why I'm wearing blue is not because of PlayStation. It's to mock them because they're idiots. And look, I can say it time and time again, every day, every night, how evil PlayStation is. Nintendo too. Microsoft sometimes. Mainly in the past, when Bill Gates was kind of the head. Anyway, whatever. But now Asha's like kind of doing some stuff. And it seems like what's happening, the culture's changing at Microsoft a little bit, and it's definitely changing at Xbox for the better. And we look at it and we say, oh, that's cool, this stuff. So far, so good, right? And people, I keep hearing these content creators are like, yo, man, I mean, I didn't believe her at first, but she proved me wrong. I'm glad to say it. Blah, blah, blah. I think Skillup said it. A bunch of people, Plume, everybody that have had doubts about Asha's, reign, they're like, I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad I was wrong. I was like, well, we'll see what she do. I mean, right or wrong, I don't know, but let's see what she do. If it's good, it's good. If it's not good, then whatever. But yeah, it's like, I mean, look, video games are gonna be here. It's like they're not going anywhere. But as far as these companies, as far as Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, Xbox, let's just say Xbox, that's up to them. If they want to destroy their own legacy, PlayStation, you go right ahead. Look, you got a bunch of money. You got billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars. You have enough money to do something, or you have enough money to just ruin everything. It's up to you. Right now, they trying to pull their games off of PC. I mean, they had the report, Jason Schreier said it before. Now, I think it was, I guess it was verified by Sherman Holtz. Herman Holtz, that's his name. So it's true, and I'm like, okay, how does that benefit PlayStation? How does that benefit Sony? How does that benefit anyone? It doesn't. It placates the fanboys, but it makes PlayStation less money. And the problem with that, and it's on the Xbox side too, but I think it's mainly on the PlayStation side because their games are kind of trash. What's happening on PC with the PlayStation games is shining a light on the quality of, or lack thereof, of PlayStation games, because PC gamers, they don't have allegiance to Sony or Nintendo or Xbox. They're like, if a game is good, I'm gonna play it. Helldivers, for example, they didn't care that PlayStation published it. It was a good game made by a dev that made the game. They made the first one, they made the second one. It was a good game. They played the game. That's how it works over there on PC. If the game is good, it's gonna get played. If the game is whack, marathon. If the game is whack, Concord. You see a trend happening here? I'm just saying. So this experiment that they did, it wasn't really an experiment, it was a cry for help to get more money. It failed because their games suck. They're not for everyone. They're not for multiplayer gamers. They're not for casual gamers. They're only for the hardcore ponies and donkey unicorns. So they'll go and they'll fillet these titles like The Last of Us 2. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Grr, grr. You know, oh my gosh, Spider-Man 2 is so woke, but I love it. Grr, grr. But everybody's not loving it. Look at the charts. PlayStation is making so many mistakes. They've made so many mistakes that even in the attempt of being transparent, they're making a huge mistake. That whole beta where they're saying, oh, we're gonna show the active users of our games and on the PlayStation. That's the worst thing you can do, because being quiet and being kind of sneaky and deceitful, you know, hiding the numbers, massaging the numbers is what you do the best. If you give us the numbers, people will look at that and say, oh, wait, I thought you had 100 million consoles, so 90-something million consoles, so how come there's only 5 million people playing this game? How come there's only 4 million people playing this game? What was it, 5.8 on Grand Theft Auto 5? And I'm like, you got almost 100 million and you only got 5? You only have 5% of your install base playing the biggest game in anticipation for the next biggest game? You expect to have more people playing GTA 6 than GTA 5, which includes online, which won't be available until who knows when Rockstar is going to put out online. And King said it. He said it. I didn't finish watching this video today, but he said it. He's like, yo, he's gonna report on those numbers weekly, and I'm gonna watch that, because that's what's up. We get to peek behind the curtain what's happening on PlayStation. How many people are actually playing? You know, we can see nobody's buying the games. Now we get to see who's playing. And so when you look at those little itty bitty numbers, the saying who's playing, you match that up with the consoles sold to stores or whatever number they're given. The math ain't mathing. It never has been mathing. And so I don't know if the shareholders are idiots too, they're dumbasses, or they just think that the number of consoles sold to Best Buy, wherever, and Amazon is good enough. I really don't know. I mean, are they that daft that they don't understand that games make more money than console hardware? They have to know this. I'm not even a shareholder. I'm not on the board. I know this because of history, because they've said it year after year. Consoles, the hardware, it's a loss leader. It has been that way. Nintendo tried to they flipped the script a little bit, so it's not really a loss leader, but they don't make a whole bunch of money off of Switches and stuff. They'd be lucky if they clear, you know, $5-10 per unit or whatever, you know. Maybe they're clearing more. Maybe they're clearing $20. But it's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? And so, and the thing about the games is Nintendo, sure, their costs are going up, but not like Sony. You know, even Microsoft is trying to be smart about, you know, just managing the budgets of these titles. And they put out really good titles like South of Midnight, which I'm not exactly sure how much. Did they say that cost like $60 million or something? I can't remember. But it wasn't a super expensive game. And did it sell a lot? I don't know, but was it worth it? I think it was, because it gives us content for Game Pass, and it makes Game Pass the value is there. When you put stuff like that into Game Pass, it's like, boom, that's nice. I think I'll stay. I think I'll give you another $22.99. Thank you, Asha. I think I gotta check my thing if it ran out. I think it's running out. This might have ran out last month. I don't know. I gotta check. But anyway, still $22.99. I'm good. $23. Sure. $3. I'm fine with it. But you know, look. PlayStation is in a bad spot, and I want these ponies to realize and recognize. You see the constant bad news, and it's funny because it's like bad news PlayStation, bad news PlayStation. There's no more bad news PlayStation, and then Xbox comes in to save the day, to distract, so they can put bad news out too. No, there hasn't been any Xbox bad news for at least 2 months since Asha showed up, and it's been a lot of good news. I got Forza chilling on my X right now, waiting for play me. I'ma play you. Listen, girl. I'ma turn you on. I'ma press the button, and I'ma vroom, vroom, vroom. Sorry. Listen, Forza is my favorite. I think it's my favorite franchise of Xbox. Forza Horizon. Forza Motorsport was cool. 4 got good. 5 got really good. But they took a few elements from those games and kind of infused it into Horizon. And Horizon is just so much. It's just a fun game. And people, like, there's some detractors. There's some ponies and donkey unicorns out there talking about, it's the same game. It's just in a different location. There's no damage on the cars. It's a... I'm like, I need to line y'all up and slap you through the internet, because this is, look, y'all are trying, but 92, that don't lie. Numbers don't lie, right? 92, highest rated Metacritic game so far, right? Xbox game. Guess who's not playing it on PlayStation? Ponies and donkey unicorns and everybody else, because it's a time exclusive. They should really, honestly, they should yank that game away from PlayStation right now. Be like, listen, indefinitely postponed, and just put it in the closet and forget about it until they do the DLCs, the 2 DLCs. Once everything is done, all the cars are released, then you put it on PlayStation. That's how you do it. That's how you say, yo, we love you Xbox fans. This is what we're going to do. You can still play it on PlayStation. You just got to, after first DLC, after second DLC, after all the car packs, after we have 600 cars are out, when you got nothing else to do, then you say, all right, we do a PlayStation version. I mean, maybe you could work on it at the same time, or maybe not. Be like, nah, we're going to concentrate on our fans, right? So you concentrate on the Xbox content, Xbox cars, all that stuff. And then you give it to them later. That's all I'm saying. Last thing, I was watching Moore's Law is Dead, and I had to go back a couple of videos because I had skipped it. And he was talking about FSR 4.1, 4 and 4.1 going to RDNA 3, 3.5, and all that stuff. And then he speculated how FSR 4.1 may go to RDNA 2. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then he posited the notion that Xbox Series X would reap more benefits than the PlayStation 5 because Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5. We've been saying this whole generation. And ponies and donkey unicorns will be like, but look at this game, it's not blah, blah, blah. And look at that game, it's performing better on PlayStation 5. We all know why, because the devs optimized for PlayStation 5 and they did not optimize for the Xbox because of the raw power. They brute forced it on the Xbox, and you know, at times it performed less than. And that's just, I'm not gonna say lazy devs, because it's not about the devs being lazy. It's about the publishers pressuring the devs to get the games out as fast as possible, so they cut corners. And where they cut corners was dev time on the Xbox. That's the reality, okay? And so now what's happening, or what he explained, is that PlayStation has not been updating their FSR versions. So PlayStation 5 particularly, they stopped at, as he said it, FSR 2.1 or something like that, right? So it's like the older version of the trash versions of FSR. We're not even gonna count one, because count one is like, what is that? So they stopped updating it, and they're focusing, I guess, on Pisser Tech 2, whatever, which is basically just FSR 4 or whatever. I mean, whatever, they can rebrand it, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's optimized a little bit better for Pisser Tech, but they stopped updating it. Meanwhile, Xbox has continually updated their series consoles with, I believe they're at 3.5 maybe of FSR. So if they're continually updating it, they can update it to FSR 4.1, and they'll be ahead of the curve when it comes to that stuff, as opposed to Sony, who has been lagging behind because they're concentrating on the PlayStation 5 Pro, the Pisser Tech 5 Potato. And how he described it was that FSR, how they're doing it on the Xbox side, is putting it as a it's like a switch that you just flip on, and it works, you know. And so I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. But PlayStation, once again, is behind, so they would have to update it to the whatever the versions, and then 2 up to 3 and 3.5 and all that stuff. And so, as I understand it, Xbox is ahead of the game when it comes to that. So we're gonna start seeing those consoles perform. The gap between performance is gonna be seen, and it's so kind of weird that this generation has been a sham. You know, PlayStation 5 has coasted, and it has been portrayed as a more powerful console, but it isn't. And now it's going to be shown to everybody. The whole world will see how unpowerful it is. And you know, that's hardware. And the thing is like, it's part of it is the devs, where they say, okay, what's the easiest platform to develop for? And at the start of this generation, it was the PlayStation 5, because the PlayStation 5 is literally just a PlayStation 4. Like how the API and the dev kits are, it's a PlayStation 4 dev kit with more power. So you can just, it's the same thing that they've been doing that whole last generation. Just, oh, we don't have to learn any new techniques. It's just the same thing. It's just faster and it's more. Oh, that's cool. That's dev friendly, sure. But now they have 2 SKUs to worry about: the Pisser Tech and the regular PlayStation. More people have the regular PlayStation, so they're always going to dev for that. But they're going to fall behind because they haven't been doing the work behind the scenes to keep the hardware up to snuff. And it only got 20 flops, 20 T-flops, tops, not T-flops. It only has 20 point something, 20.6, I believe, tops. And the Series X has 48. That's more than double. You don't think that's gonna have an effect on performance? Come on, son. It's like, they got no chance. They're in trouble. They in so much trouble. And it's interesting, because what's happening now, it tends to happen every generation, but we don't see it. But it happened in the Sega Genesis generation, specifically because of, guess who? Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny used to work at Sega. And Mark Cerny was the brains of the Sega, I forgot what it was called, but they did all that crazy special effects that you like, there's no way that the Genesis could do that. They figured out software, sprite scaling. They figured out how to separate the second background, because Genesis had 2 backgrounds and then sprite layer. And so they figured out how to do the second background and split it into, basically each scan line would move at a different speed in different direction and such, and it would cause different effects. Like I believe it was the Mickey Mouse game, Castle of Illusion, I think it was, and where he's going around and he's running like towards the screen, and you see everything's kind of going back through. It's like a first person but reversed or something. a bunch of things you would never think that the Genesis could do, it did. You know, led by Mark Cerny, he's a brain. I ain't gonna take away the fact that he's smart at squeezing the most juice out of the lemon. But if you ain't got no more power to pull out, you can't. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And if this, what PlayStation has right now, PlayStation 5, nothing you can do. You can't squeeze no more out of that. The PlayStation Pixeltech 5 Potato is prohibitively expensive, and it's not selling. And 46% down year over year. Come on, son. So all these pieces are falling into place. The demise of PlayStation, the downgrade of PlayStation, the sinking of the ship, SSS PlayStation. It hit the iceberg. It's going down. It's just slow. And Mark Cerny is there playing the violin. Not Mark Cerny, but Herman Hulse. Yeah, man. It's interesting to watch, and the fact that, like, it would be something different if they had games and they were doing all. They got no games, and they trying to pull the games off of PC. Y'all ain't got no games, so the maybe two games that you're selling are not going to sell out much because nobody buys games on PlayStation. It's like I don't see how they can recover. And it's like when Jim Ryan said, "Oh, if Xbox buys Call of Duty ABK, then we will never be able to recover." No. It wasn't because of that. It was because of what you did, Jim. It's what position you put the company in with all those lives, all those billions of dollars you wasted. Man, I want to do the math. I don't want to do the math, but somebody do the math. I want to know the percentage of money they wasted overall through Bungie, the loss of Bungie, blah, blah, blah. It's like 3.6 plus the almost 1 billion that they lost, that they took a loss for, I guess, tax purposes or whatever, as opposed to how much they're worth. You know, is it like 5 billion maybe total? Because you have to take into account all the games they canceled. Concord was that 700 million or something like that? Probably more than that with marketing and everything. They had a freaking episode on Next Level. All that stuff. And take into account all those things that they did. Is it 5 billion? Let's just say 5 billion. So you want to take that 5 billion out of their net worth. I mean, actually, them closing the studios should lower their worth anyway, because it's literally physical studios that are worth something, you know, outside of like what they have to pay their people, the employees. The actual studio itself is worth, you know, these studios are worth a certain amount of money. And so when you close a studio, you lose worth. And so how many studios they close? They cancel. How many games did they cancel plus close studios? You gotta take all that into consideration. Minus, and like, so, I mean, we would probably have to look at maybe 20, whenever they acquired the studios before they started closing stuff and closing and shutting down games, and see what they were worth, and then see what they're worth now. I think they're 20 something bucks, the low 20s stock share. And Microsoft is 400, and I don't even know what they are. I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I ain't not buying that. I can't. What about I'm gonna buy like 1 share, 2 shares. You know, I like to buy in bulk. I want a whole bunch of shares so I can make that whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. So I guess hit me up in the comments below. Let me know what you think about PlayStation's demise in front of our eyes. We cannot be surprised about this, and this is not a prize. This is just how it lies. Sorry about the rhymes. I'm trying to practice. But yeah, Sony's bungles, bad news after bad news after bad news, and then Xbox, good news after good news after good news. It's so weird having everything flip like this. And then, you know, what are these donkey unicorns and what are these ponies talking about? What are they saying? Who knows? But anyway, I'll talk to y'all next one. Till the wait.